Hey guys, John Jr. here, bringing you guys another and the final IBA Season 5 video, this time coming at you guys with a season recap of our, spoiler alert, championship season. I'm going to be going over all of our matchups, everything like that, all of our mons, what I thought about the season, the coaches, just everything. Before we get into this, again, I haven't recorded in forever. This was supposed to go up on Tuesday, but I haven't gotten around to recording. I've had way too much homework, absolutely way too much homework, and I've been hanging out with people, and I haven't been feeling mons. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. So let me give you guys a quick life update before we continue, because I seem to always do that. My hair's not with it today. But if you want to skip it, there will probably be a timestamp in the description below. But let me go ahead and talk about life for a second. So there's been a lot of homework, way too much homework. I've still had those 12-hour classes. I've been hanging out with people, but I haven't been feeling Pokemon at all lately. This was like an update video, but Pokemon's just kind of been like, it's there. I enjoy it somewhat, but like, I don't know, it's not the same that it used to be. It's kind of like tedious now, especially the matches, prepping and playing the matches. I don't know, it hasn't been enjoyable for me lately, and thankfully we are only in two current leagues, because I think PMU unfortunately died at our 3-0 record. So we might still play Ramsey for week 5 just for fun, and I might upload that if it does die. But regardless, we also have NCP, spoiler alert, finals, because we did make the finals, and I got to update the playoffs. That was supposed to go up yesterday, actually. Oh no, I'm recording this on Saturday. But I don't know, like, I just haven't been feeling the mons. There's not really too much else to say about it. I just haven't been feeling mons. I haven't been feeling productive to record and stuff like that. I've kind of been getting home, I've been exhausted, I fell asleep. Like, that's kind of what it's been. I got home at 10 o'clock at night the other day, and I just right to bed. But regardless, all that being said, we did end up having a championship season, which means so much to me because of the fact that this was the Eterna City Audino's first ever season. This was the first league that I ever used the Eterna City Audino in. Technically it's not. Technically I used it in 2 tier 3 and below leagues before, but I just kind of goofed around in those. There was one of them was APA season 14, and I drafted, it was point based, and I think it was 65 points, something like that, and I drafted Mega Audino guaranteed for 37 points. So I was just kind of having some fun with that one. And then one of the other ones was the NCP one, and I was just doing like 5-10 minute builds, and kind of regret doing that NCP season as a whole because it died very quickly, but we got it done, we got through it. It is what it is. So this is the first season that I really hammered down and really tried as the Eterna City Audino, which, by the way, the leagues that I really try in are the ones I upload, so you guys don't really miss anything. You guys don't miss any leagues that I try in. You guys get all of that stuff, so don't even worry about that. But anyway, the first league, I'm counting it as the first league with the Eterna City Audino, because that's what it is in my mind. We won the championship, which is crazy. I didn't expect that at all. We went into this season, and I wanted to try Mega Mawile. That was the Pokemon that I wanted to try the most, and it somehow made it to us at the 14th, 15th overall pick, which was nuts to me. And I had this nice plan. I wanted Mega Mawile, I wanted Reuniclus, and I wanted Salamence. That was the 3 mons that I really wanted, and we got one of those because Victini was still there around 2. Our little dude here, V-Mon, was still there, and then we got Hydreigon around 3, which was nuts to me. So this team quickly became my favorite team that I've ever drafted, sheerly based on the first 3 Pokemon. Honestly, those 3 Pokemon made literally my favorite core I've ever had. You can see the stats over here. You can see I brought Mega Mawile to every single game, Victini to every game except 1, and Hydreigon I didn't bring to 3 games. So those mons came a lot of the time and did very, very well, especially Mega Mawile. But I want to try Mega Mawile this season because I felt like it was overrated. I felt like it was banned in some leagues. I didn't think it was that good at all. I really didn't think it was good at all. I thought it was such an overrated mon. It had base 50 speed. Like, sure, it can claim 1 KO, but I felt like that was all it could do. Boy, was I wrong. Like, I love this Pokemon now. It is one of my favorite Pokemon to use. It just clicks buttons, man. I don't know how to explain it. Like, sure, it may just pick up 1 KO, but the offensive pressure it puts on your team, and not only prep, but also when they're making plays, is insane, and how it makes them have to build their team is crazy. I love Mega Mawile. Paired alongside Victini, which is one of the most versatile Pokemon in the format, it was a crazy combination, and I don't know why I didn't bring Victini to 1 game, by the way, but with all that being said, that was the squad. We also had, or that was for the first 3 mons. And Triple Threat had Dragon. It paired perfectly with Mega Mawile and Victini because of Levitate, and it was a tier 2 instead of tier 1 like Solomon's was. So I got exactly what I wanted and for better value, which is awesome. And Triple Threat had Dragon is one of my favorite Pokemon, so I was so happy to have that boy. And actually, you know what? Let me put this up here too. Give me 1 second. Now we're rocking out. Okay. Triple Threat, I love the boy. He's a homie. Triple Threat is a great. Hydreigon's a great Pokemon, and I hope you guys had fun like listening to me always say Hydreigon. But now we have the season 5. This is probably the thumbnail, by the way. But I vectored every single Pokemon as well as the Pokemon Black and White Trainer, which I think is the one that looks the most like me, and put them over there. And we got our squad, and I love it so much. It's definitely the thumbnail. It took me forever, but I got it done. So those were our first 3 Pokemon, and I figured going into the next pick, I wanted a mon to help with the ground immunity, and I got Gliscor. I decided let's try Gliscor again. Mikaru, that's my boy. I hate Gliscor. I have drafted it 4 times now, and every single time I drop it after like 5 weeks because it doesn't do anything. In practice, it's like, oh, it can be offensive or defensive. It can be this great unbreakable wall, and then in the battle, it's like, here's a Willow. Here, this mon sucks. Like, I hate Gliscor. It is legitimately my least favorite Pokemon to use, and I'm never using it again. In the foreseeable future, at least. And it might not even be in Sword and Shield, by the way, now that I think about it. But regardless, I hate Gliscor. My hatred for Gliscor is just so enormous at this point. I hate the mon. I hate the mon. But then we got Skarmory, Rustwing. I wanted another defensive pivot, another defogger. I thought it fit really well. I really do like Skarmory. And then we got my girl Sally, who we finally got a championship. I don't think I got her a championship before. Sally's my dog, my real life dog. And I love Lycanroc because of the fact that my first ever tiered season, I had Lycanroc Dusk, and I got it like last round or second to last round. And it went 27-6 or something insane. Like it won second in MVP race. Like it was crazy. And ever since then, I loved that Pokemon. And she did really good for us this season. She had a +8 differential, 11-3, and 6 of those kills was a 6-0 against odds. Lycanroc just kind of swept through, and that was really fun. That's one of my favorite memories of the season. And then we got Sohan, the Jellicent, and it says our boy Sohan is 0-6, and unfortunately he was. But the pressure he alleviated on the defensive end was insane. The trick rooms he set were crazy. I wish I had like an assist stat, because Sohan would have like a billion assists. Like, Jellicent was such a good Pokemon this time, and I never used it. I used it once before. I really liked it, but using it this season, it was such a good Pokemon. I did so much more than I expected it to. I knew going into the season, it didn't need to get kills. We have Hydreigon, Victini, Mega Mawile. We don't need anything else to get kills. So I knew it was going to be mainly always a defensive Pokemon, and that's exactly what it did. We brought some really cool sets. We brought that Trick Room, Wiki Berry, Ice Beam Taunt, Scald set against Kohan the first time we played him that I loved. Like, there were just so many cool opportunities with Jellicent, and especially with Trick Room, it paired perfectly with Mega Mawile. I love that mod. Even if it went 0-6, it didn't really go 0-6, man. Like, it was insane. And then we had Breloom, and we brought Breloom to 5 games, and the homie did good in the matches we brought him. And he could have won week 1 against Ollie, but I was Life Orb instead of Expert Belt, so I wish I was Expert Belt that week. But other than that, Breloom was kind of underwhelming. I wanted to try Breloom because I thought that it would, because it was tier 3, and I was like, well, people always hype it up in tier 2, so let's see what it's all about in tier 3, because I don't think it's worth a tier 2. And coming out of the season, I still don't believe it's worth a tier 2 pick. I know I didn't use it like to the best of its ability because it didn't really have good matchups this season, to be honest. But it's a really good tier 3, don't get me wrong. I think it's one of the best tier 3, but as tier 2, I don't think it's worth that. I don't know. To me, it's not like, it's easy to play around because of like the speed tier and things like that and how frail it is. I think it's really easy to play around if you get a team that's weak to fighting types, like how we faced Kurt, the East Coast Bisharp. His team was super weak to fighting types. It does great. It does great against teams like that. But otherwise, it's just too slow and too frail. It cannot ever take a hit. And I really wanted to, I really had it on some teams as a 7th Mon, as a Pokemon that had like Toxic, Sub, Protect, Leech Seed, things like that. I almost brought that in semis, actually. And I'm really disappointed I didn't get to bring it that way because I really would have liked to see how it performed. I really only brought it as an offensive setup option, and that's on me, and that's my fault because I really would have liked to use it defensively. But still, I really don't think it's worth a tier 2 Mon. I like the Mon, don't get me wrong, but I don't think I would choose it in tier 2. And then we had Heliolisk, the girl Aki, who did so much better this season than I actually expected. Aki was here because we lost 2 water types, and I didn't want to lose to water types, so we got our dry skin electric type, which is such a good mon in League format, man. I really think Heliolisk is very, very underrated because it just beats all of the water types. I'm trying to think of like a water type that it doesn't beat. Like Rotom Wash is really the only one that comes to mind. But even then, Rotom Wash doesn't beat us. It's kind of like a standoff. What else is there? Is there a water ground? Swampert. Oh, it doesn't beat Swampert. Or Seismitoad. Okay, so there's a couple of water types it doesn't beat. But Heliolisk is just such a fun mon, man. Like, I really like it. Gets both forms of momentum. It gets not the best move pool, but it can be ran in a lot of different ways. We had the Psych Up set that one time. We had an AV set. We had Magnet sets. We had a lot of different sets with Heliolisk, and it really performed in matchups where I didn't expect it to perform at all. So Aki was a very pivotal piece of the team this time around. And then, of course, we had Audino, and I hate the fact that you guys see that we didn't bring Audino once this season. I almost brought it in finals against Kohan. It was 100% my 7th mon against Kohan. Well, I guess Breloom was by technicality, but I almost brought Audino just for Zygarde. Regardless, though, Audino was my 7th Pokemon in like 6 or 7 matchups. Like, it was insane how close I was to bringing Audino all the time. And regardless of whether or not Audino came, Audino, in my mind, is that Pokemon, like, if you guys watch NBA, it's the NBA player that like hypes everybody up when they come to the bench. They're like giving them high fives and stuff and like hyping them up, and it's always positive. And I think Audino did that for me, because whenever I look at our squad and I see that we have Audino, it makes me smile just a little bit, because we got Audino a championship. Whether or not it came, that's semantics, but we got it the championship. Then we had Garbodor. And Garbodor, like, people hype it up as like the best tier 5 or one of the best tier 5s. And I'm sure it is, but it had horrible matchups this season. Like, I didn't get to use it as much as I wanted, and I'm definitely wanting to try it again in the future. The one matchup it did come was against Brody, and it got up a Toxic Spike and really helped Lycanroc win the game, I do believe, or maybe it was a regular Spike. But regardless, it helped us win one game, and that was the only game it had a good matchup. And then Landers, Mr. Peanut, he's a homie, dog. I love Landers' Eye. He only came to 3 games, but he did more in those 3 games than Gliscor could have dreamed to do in all 15 of our games. Was it 15? 11 and 4. Yeah, it was 15. As soon as I dropped Gliscor, people were like, yo, you need to pick up a different mon, like, if you don't like Gliscor. And I was like, word. And Blinn suggested me Landers Eye, and I was like, what do I got to lose? It gets rocks and defog, right? Let's try it. And he was a very reliable rocker, actually, and he really pulled through. So that was our squad, and I really liked our squad. It is literally my favorite team I've ever used, so I am so happy that we got a championship with it. Mega Mawile became one of my favorite mons easily to use. Victini has always been one of my favorites, so is Hydreigon. I learned to love Heliolisk. Lycanroc's always been one of my favorite. I like Skarmory even more this time. We brought it offensive sometimes, which was so cool, and I was not expecting that. I think we brought like a 148 Adamant set one week or something. Like, it was crazy. That mon was so fun. Landers was so fun. Everything except Gliscor was fun. Everything except Gliscor was fun, so I really enjoyed that. And as far as our matchups go, you guys can see over here, schedule. We started off 0-3. Week 1 against Ollie, phenomenal game. One of my favorite games I've ever played. He played out of his mind, and I think that is one of the best games I've ever seen Ollie play in my life. He played great, and he got us. And it was such a close loss. I think his mom was on like 10 HP or something. Like, it was, or maybe it was like 50% or something like. But it was like, if we had one more round of Life Orb damage, we won the game. Like, that's what it came down to. So that was like the closest a game could have ever gotten. It was a really good game. And then week 2 against Obo, who did end up dropping, we lost because we got I think it was fully parried. Or no, it was parried on our Flame Charge Victini into miss on our Breloom. That's what it was. So we were down on turn 3, 4-6. There was no way we could come back from that. That matchup, that was awful. I'm still salty about that one. I will die and be salty about that matchup. And then week 3, we faced Steven, and we lost on, was it a flinch or was it a roll? I think it was like a 19% roll, 19.5% roll or something like that. Like, the first 3 weeks were not kind to us. Week 1, I easily, like, I would take that week 1 loss. Like, we deserved that 100%. Ollie played phenomenally. But the next 2 weeks, I really felt like we deserved dubs. I came out and I was mad. I was not happy with those losses. And I kept thinking about it. Like, Kurt told me that he was, Kurt told me he was 0-3 last season and won a championship. So I was like, man, that would be so cool if we could come back and we could do that. So, I went against Zombie the following week, as you can see, and Zombie's a really good player. I think so. Zombie's a really good player, but he didn't like his team this season, and I think it really showed with how he performed overall in the league. I think he went like 3-8 or something like that, 3-9, something 4-8, something like that. Like, he didn't have a great record, and we did beat him pretty bad. Mega Mawile just kind of ate him though, so there's nothing you can really do about that. And I think we did crit his Mew, which I don't know if that cost him the game or if that just cost him differential. I believe it just cost him differential, but I could be wrong. And then we faced Brody the following week, and Lycanrod picked up 6 KOs. That's one of my favorite matches all season, absolutely. We faced Koan the following week, and we should not have won, but we won because of, was it a crit? Was it a crit with Mawile, or was it a miss? It might have been a miss. I don't remember. We won because of something, and if it didn't happen, then we had like a roll to win, but it was not in our favor. So that one, we got bailed out on down a little bit. And then we faced Kurt the following week, and that was a really good game, and Brelin went in. I remember his team was insanely weak to fighting types. We faced Blinn the following week. Again, I would accept that matchup every single time. That is one of the best games I've ever had. Blinn played out of his mind. Probably the best I've ever seen Blinn play. Try saying that 10 times fast. That is difficult. He brought crazy good prep. His Suicune was insane. I didn't even expect him to bring Suicune. Like, he did great. He did great that game. That's all I can say. Like, he did phenomenal. And then we went on, and you can see those dubs start rolling in, dog. We faced Shadow, and that was a... Wait, we 6-0'd Shadow? I don't remember that game at all, actually. I remember their Zapdos' name was Zapdos, and that makes me laugh every time I think about it. And then we faced Davion, and I went into the matchup against Davion. I want to talk about that. I like Davion a lot as a person. He's a really good guy, really nice, really friendly to talk to. But I went into that matchup, and I was like, he's an Overwatch player. He's not a Mons player. Like, I went in thinking, like, I already had it won, which I don't do very often. I don't do very often because I didn't know anything about him. I didn't know how good he was. But then he set the tone like the first 3 turns, and I was like, oh, we got a game on our hands. He's a good player. Like, Davion really impressed me and really showed to me that he's actually a very good Mons player. And I'd love for Davion to get more into Pokemon, man, because I really enjoy just talking to him as a person and just seeing him battle and stuff, because he's very good. I feel like he could, if he wanted to play more, he could get very good at competitive Pokemon. But we played him. He played great, and unfortunately, we just had the matchup on him. He just didn't really have an answer to, I think it was Scarf Hydreigon. He just didn't really do anything against that, I think is what it was. But he played like out of his mind. Like, it said 4-0, but I'm pretty sure that was a lot closer. Like, Mons were really low. Like, it was a really good game. That's one of the games that really stick out to me on the season. And then we faced Galeadite week 11. We disconnected a lot. It was like we were sitting there for like 2.5 hours trying to play our game, and we kept disconnecting. And I got to the point to where I didn't care if we won or lost at that point because we locked playoffs. So I was like, whatever, I'll just take the forfeit loss. Like, it's no, like, it doesn't mean anything to me. Like, whatever. Like, I'm not gonna sit here for any longer. I don't have the time to sit here for any longer than that. I've already wasted all this time. And he was like, no, you know what? It's okay. I've already basically clinched first seed, so you can take the forfeit win. So that's what happened there. But I told him, I was like, I don't want to take like a forfeit win. If we're gonna do that, I want to take like the 0 because I don't want your differential to get messed up because of that. So we took that forfeit win 0-0. And I wouldn't really like to play him because we got to a point to where it was like 5-5. I think like it was a pretty good game, and I wish I could have showed you guys, but it was gonna go to timer. I'm pretty sure, like the way it was going and the way it kept disconnecting, and that's why I got very frustrated because like it felt like it was gonna go to timer already, and then we kept disconnecting, so it kept getting like to the point that we were at like 40 minutes with 56 minutes left on the clock, and it was like, dog, I'm not gonna sit through this. Like it got pretty intense. But Galeadite's a really good guy if you guys haven't talked to him. And then week 12, we got John Hardcore by Aaron 12. I told him, that week I was available 2 days. I told him, I was like, I'm available this day, and there's no in between. These are the times I'm available, because I'm pretty sure that's the first week I had classes. And I was like, there's no in between, there's no extra stuff. These are the only times I'm available this week. I cannot make any exceptions because of classes. So do with that what you will. And he was like, okay, that works. And then the first day came around and he didn't reply to my ads, and I was like, okay, that's fine, we still have one more day. Second day came around, didn't reply to my ads. I said I claimed forfeit dub. Like there's no, that was all that was. Like he just didn't respond to me, which kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, but that's besides the point. And then round 1, we faced Blinn, and I was so looking forward to that, man, because he gave me such a good game the first time. I wanted to bring it back, and I really wanted to kick his tail this time. I wanted to kick his ego down a couple of notches, man. So we went into that one. I felt so good about my prep, man, and I think it really showed in the game. We beat him 2-0 this time, and that's what really counts. We beat him in the playoffs. That's what really counts. And that game was very fun. I remember Mawile should have got 5 kills, I think, but missed 2 play roughs. Like, it was crazy. But man, that was a fun game. Like, I wanted to knock his ego down a couple of pegs. My favorite thing in the world is proving people wrong. So when somebody beats me, I want to beat them, like, I want to humiliate them the next time. Like, that's how my mindset is. So it felt so good to beat Blinn. And like, I remember that's when the burnout on Mons kind of started. So I had to face Blinn in both NCP and IBA, and I was like, man, I really want to win IBA. Like, we're doing so good in there. I really want to win IBA. I don't care too much about NCP. So I kind of just threw together my NCP team, and then my IBA team I really worked on, and I was really happy with it. And I'm really glad I did, because you see where we are now. But the following week, in the semis, we played either Brody or Kurt, and either one was going to be a whole lot of fun, because those are two of my best friends, so I was really looking forward to that. But I was fingers crossed that I played Kurt, because I really wanted to fulfill the prophecy, basically. Go from 0-3 to, or go to 0-3 to championship, like Kurt did. So I wanted to beat the guy that did it last time, so I could prove myself, because like I said, proving people wrong is like my favorite thing in the world, man. It's such a good feeling. So we got in there and we played Kurt, and I had a really good matchup against Kurt. There's no questions about it. Kurt's team was really good, and then who did he take over for? Maybe it was Mid. Like Mid made some questionable transactions and then dropped the league. I feel like if Kurt had the initial team that was Clefable, Kyron Black, Mega Aggron, we were in a lot of trouble. But we just had the matchup against him. Like Specs Victini destroyed him. Like there were a lot of factors. Like, and I think Kurt was just having a bad day too, man, which sucks, and I hate that for him. But I remember we disconnected from that game a lot, and eventually I was just like, whatever, I can't live con this, let's just go. And I was frustrated, but we pushed through and we got that dub, and it was a really good game. Kurt needs to give himself more credit. If you're watching this, Kurt, give yourself more credit, man. You're a great Mons player, even if you don't think it, and you should help yourself, dog. You need better confidence, man. And I know we talk about this all the time, but he got down on himself after that loss, and I hated that so much. But he did good. I really do think that was a really good game. I still have that Specs Victini in my box, by the way. Oh, and that's the game where I had Breloom with the sub-leech seed protect set I was talking about earlier, and I thought I lost to Neuvern, so I was like, whatever, I'm going to ditch this. I messaged Jay 10 minutes before the battle. I was like, whatever, I'm going to ditch this. Do you think I should go Lycanroc? And he was like, yeah, go Lycanroc. And I was like, does this set work? And I just posted a quick set. It wasn't anything great, and he was like, yeah, that's fine. And I was like, what item? He was like, Life Orb. So I was like, boom, 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 easy. Now we don't lose to Neuvern. And it ended up picking up 3 kills that game, which I think is just so cool. Like, Lycanroc's just such a good mon, man. I love that mon. And then finals, obviously, the thing that's fresh in everybody's mind. No matter who we faced either Gallade or Kohan, and no matter which one we faced, we had an awful matchup, man. An awful matchup. Except I think our matchup was against Gallade was just a little bit better, but either one was horrible, and I had such a headache prepping for Kohan, and I couldn't think of anything for the longest time. But then OG Albino sat down and helped me prep and gave me that workup Z Iron Tail, Dark Pulse, or Dragon Pulse, Hydreigon. Like, I love that set, man. That's one of my favorite sets I've ever ran, thanks to Owen there. But we played that, and we ended up getting that crit on the Zygarde, which, by the way, I haven't talked to Gohan about this, but I sat down with his team. He didn't even give me his team. He gave me his Zygarde set. I sat down with his Zygarde set, and I plopped it on there, and if he, like, the way he was talking, he was going to 1,000 arrows into E-Speed, into, he had another priority move on some mon. I forget what it was, but with our Shuka, and or maybe it was Scarf Darm. It was Scarf Darm U-turn, I think is what it was. And he said that he could just keep U-turning and pivot out if he got the 1,000 arrows plus E-speed damage off on our Victini. That's exactly what it was, and that's wrong. I'm 90% sure we won that game regardless, because I assumed he was max, like, I think it was max Adamant Darmanitan. I assumed worst case scenario, and the worst, if he got absolute max rolls on everything, he did 99.3% to Victini. Like, he never killed our Victini with 1,000 arrows plus E-speed plus U-turn with the set that he showed me. So I'm pretty confident that we won that game no matter what, guys. I'm 90% sure that we won that game no matter what. As far as that crit goes, I'm pretty sure that crit didn't matter. So that ate away at me. You guys probably saw it in the video when he got, like, upset because of that crit. That kind of took away from my my happiness from the finals. But I'm to the point to where I'm so confident that didn't matter at all. And it was a roll. It was like a 50% chance to kill anyway, or something like that, or maybe a 40% chance. Like, it was, we had a good chance to kill anyway on the Glaciate crit. So I'm gonna say that crit didn't matter. I'm pretty sure. But it was a good game regardless. It was a good finals. I really like how I got to use Hydreigon. I thought it was really cool, and that was a good season, man. That was a good season, and we're here now. And it sucks though, because once I won the championship and I made this this right here, I was done with Mons. Like, I'm burnt out now. Like, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to look at a Pokemon right now, and I don't know why. It's just the way it be, I guess. But it was a great season, guys, and we are gonna I was unsure if I was gonna come back for IBA Season 6 for Sword and Shield, but I've been talking to Brody about it, and I was like, and I made a promise to myself, whenever I win a league, I like to come back if they have another season to kind of like defend my title. And I feel like that's what I got to do. So we are going to come back for Season 6 of IBA. Hopefully I'm not burnt out on Mons by then, and we can draft Impidim's Evolution and have a good time with that. But with all that being said, guys, I think it's going to be it for this video. I rambled for long enough. It was a really good season. From 0-3 to championship is what we did, and we accomplished that. And I think that's crazy good, man. Like, throughout this season, I saw myself improve as a player week in and week out, and I'm very astonished as to how far I've come in the last year of playing Mons. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like. And for now, guys, this has been John Jr. signing off.